Hello everyone, it's Helena Bird, and today we're going to be exploring what is Kintsugi Collage. Now, although I had this as an independent thought, because of the concept of multiple discovery, there are some other people on the internet and on YouTube who have tried this technique. So I can't really say that I invented it. It's just something that came to me when I was doing another piece of abstract art, and I had a go at making it, and then I saw that some other people had also had a go at making it too. As you can see, in my case, I started out with a masterboard that had been put together using neutrals over a piece of scrapbook paper that I wasn't really in love with. I then got my archival black ink and did some stamping over it for a little bit more texture before bringing out the kintsugi element. For those of you who are not familiar with the word, kintsugi refers to a form of repair in Japanese pottery where they put gold along all the cracks if the pottery has broken, essentially emphasizing the flaw and accepting that those flaws are part of the pottery's journey, and that by etching them in gold, you're actually making something more beautiful out of something broken. For anyone not sure what a masterboard is, I will link to one of my other videos below where you can see me making one from scratch. But it essentially involves gluing lots of different scraps down onto one piece of paper to make one big base collage. And as you can see, what I'm doing with this masterboard is I'm trying to highlight every single crack and seam that there is, which is quite funny to me because usually I'd be trying to disguise those things. I'd be trying to get the papers to blend. So it is a completely different approach to what I usually use when I'm working with masterboards, which in itself was quite refreshing. Now, in this masterboard, I have used gold paint, and I showed you that paint just a little while ago in the video. You can use, I think, gold anything. When they make the pottery, they use gold lacquer, but I think you could use gold crayon. I think you could use gold pencil crayon. I think you could use gold watercolor, although watercolor does dry less vibrant than when you put it down, so you might have a slightly more subtle effect. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Later in this video, I get the gold glitter out, which is very, very uncharacteristic of me. I don't really even know how I came across that pot of gold glitter. Somebody must have given it to me thinking, oh, she likes crafts. But you could use lines of gold glitter. Nothing stopping you doing that. So no need to go out and buy gold paint. Look around and see what you've got. If you've got strips of gold paper, you could cut those into lines and glue them down. So definitely use whatever you have in your stash, especially when you're experimenting at first to see if you like the way it turns out. There were several phases of this where I was like, I'm not really liking how this is turning out. And I do make some adjustments at the end, which I will show you to the pieces that I've made. Just one or two of them didn't quite turn out how I had it in my head. I mean, I don't think any piece of art has ever turned out how I had it in my head, but not even close on a couple of these. So I did make some adjustments. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going in with some stickers. I've got a little sticker book just off screen there that I'm flicking through, and I'm just going in with some basic stickers. I was quite careful that I did not want the entirety of the tag filling. I think a couple of times the sticker is quite big and it covers most of the tag, but I really wanted that gold in the background to be visible. Otherwise, in a way, what was sort of the point of going into all those cracks and painting them gold if I was just going to put a massive sticker over it all? So I was trying to think a little bit carefully about which size of sticker I was choosing. Again, if you don't have stickers, there's about a million things that you could use on these pieces that are not stickers. You know, you can use stamps, you can draw things, you can cut things out of magazines or books, you can use any of the standard embellishments that you would on any junk journal tag. And what I'm going to do, what you don't have to do, but what I decided to do was I went round the embellishments in gold also, because I decided that I wanted every single thing on the tag or on the journaling card to have that kintsugi effect. And as you'll see towards the end of this video, I took the gold effect rather to the extreme. I think what you should know about me is that I am one of those people who is all or nothing. And that really shows in my artwork and in my junk journaling. If I'm doing something, it's not just like, one aspect of that, a little bit of subtle here, or a little bit of subtle there. It is big and it is bold in the motif, in the palette, whatever it is that I'm doing. It is that 100% dialed up to 11 for anyone who's seen Spinal Tap. So I just think that you should know that, and you should know that you do not have to go to the gold extremes that I went to. You can keep it as subtle as what you've got here, where you've just got it in the background, and it still looks really cool. I just decided that no, I was going to go around all of the embellishments in gold. And that I was going to make sure also that there were some gold embellishments in places where I felt perhaps the masterboard was a bit sparse, or, on the edges of the tags and the journaling spots where you perhaps would put a little tab. I also decided to go gold and big with that as well. Now, this seahorse one ends up being one of my favorite designs. And I do think that, my stickers tend to sit in a drawer because I love them, but I don't always think to use them, because I think, oh no, I will do something that's mine and that's creative and unique. And there's, nothing wrong with that. I absolutely love making things that are all mine. And certainly, if you look at any video on this, you'll see that often I'm trying to just find things that make the piece as unique as possible. I've got a bit of an aversion to just pulling out a sticker book, but it made this whole process so much more relaxing just to pull out the stickers and just choose some. I didn't have to overthink it. I didn't have to go into deep composition mode. I could just put something down and continue with the project. As such, this project got done in the space of about an hour, just over, all told. And that is almost unheard of for me. Usually these things are going on for days, and I have the luxury of my own craft desk. So I can leave things sitting and come back to it again and, blah, blah, blah. But in this case, it was a pretty quick project. So if you are looking for something that is quick and you want to practice this Kintsugi style, I recommend just choosing either a book of stickers or a book of stamps and just getting it put down and not overcomplicating it. I think I am one of the world's best at overcomplicating an art project, and it's because I'm passionate about it and I love it, which is absolutely fine. But sometimes it would be okay to just do something relaxing and not have to overthink everything, which is one of the reasons that I love junk journaling. Is it brings out that side of me where I can just enjoy gluing things down and seeing where they fit next to each other in a pleasing manner. So in a moment, I'm going to start topping these tags and putting tabs on the journaling spots. And what's sort of funny about this is I've just done a video that's all about, 10 different ways to top a tag. And I'm saying in the video, I really must, make sure that I do some of these because I forget and I just grab the ribbon and I just put it on the top and that's the end of it. Well, of course, that's exactly what I do in this video, even though I've just gone back to that video, which was an old video, and re-edited it and republished it. I'm still sitting here with just my ribbon and my fabric and just basically stapling it to the top. But remember what I just said. I was looking for something that was easy. I don't have to break creative bounds with every single project that I do. And that's something to remember when we're putting pressure on ourselves. It's okay to just grab some materials and glue them down or staple them down and just enjoy the process of doing that, and not worry about being so original all the time and that it has to look unique and it has to be only mine and, all the rest of it. It's fine to just grab some fabric, grab some ribbon, staple it to the top of a tag and call it a creative project. Because honestly, it is so relaxing and it does still teach you a lot of stuff about composition. I am learning, what goes well with these colors now. I'm learning what goes well with this particular image or with this particular masterboard, like what stands out, what blends in to an extent that you actually can't really see it. So I'm still learning composition lessons, even if I'm not making the most original piece of art in the world. And you can see that because in a moment I actually staple a piece of fabric down to a journaling card and I decide actually I don't really like the way it looks, and so I decide to change it. And that's another thing that I love about the staple when it comes to stapling things on. You actually can change things really easily. by just pulling out the staples, which, is what I ultimately do when there's something that I don't like, is if I've stapled it on, it's a lot easier than if I've glued it down quite strongly to just pull those staples out. It also makes less of a mess on the journaling card. So I love staples for that reason. They're very, very easy to pull out. I know some people don't like the look of staples on their work. I really love the kind of utilitarian edge that they lend to something that is otherwise a little bit flowery and gentle. I like that there's kind of that really hard metallic edge to the design. I'm not sure why. I think it just stands out for me. So I love my little seahorse, but then we get to this last card, and this card is the one that I would say I was least satisfied with. I am fine stapling my fabric on, no problem. But then I look at the middle of the design, I just think, well, it's just this kind of big hole in the middle, and I'm not happy. So I glued down this floral embellishment that I have had sitting in my stash probably several years. And then I get the gold glitter out and I go around the edge of that. And I'm like, yes, I really like how that looks. It's a bit subtle on a first go, so I decide I'm going to go in for a second round. And I remember what I said, I always go all or nothing. So it was too subtle for me on a first round. It might have been perfectly fine for you, and you should test how much glitter you want on your design, because it's quite striking once it's there. It really is kind of sparkly and draws attention to itself. It's a big attention grabber. So definitely, check how much glitter you really want on your design. And then I noticed, there's a bit of a blank spot on this seahorse design. I think I'm just going to add some glitter to that. And once I have, I am exceedingly happy with how that turns out. So those are my Kintsugi journaling cards, and they are my Kintsugi tags. And I'm really, really happy with how they came out, and they mark a little moment in my artistic journey when I came up with this idea. Saw that a few other people had also, but decided that I was just going to relax and make some tags and enjoy myself. So there's a little bit of a close-up. I hope this video was interesting and inspiring. I hope it takes you through the psychological journey I went on a little bit, and there'll be a new video soon. Until then, take care, and I'll see you next time.